Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
Ooh. Ooh. Welcome in to Vikings Vent Line here, part of the Purple Daily umbrella of Daily Vikings Entertainment. Are you not entertained after an overtime dagger?
Boy, where do you start with that game? Like the last two games, where do you even start? They won two, which is great, but my God, are their storylines galore again.
I got a couple places to start. I'll throw at you guys in a second here, but we're going to get our comments out of the way here in just a second, and then we'll open this up. It is your show. This is the most fan-friendly and interactive show in Minnesota sports. This is Vikings Vent Line, presented by Surly Brewing Company. You know, we just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. That's our mantra on Purple Daily every day. And I don't know, this roller coaster ride this season is, I don't know if it's getting closer or further away. We'll discuss it. I'm Phil Mackey, Judd Zulgad, Declan Goff. And if you're watching us on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, three quick things. One, click the subscribe button and the like button so we can help spread the word about the show. And number three, if you're watching on a TCL TV, thank you, because TCL is a huge supporter of us, and they bring you a new lineup of award-winning TVs that are beautiful for watching football Sunday. They deliver the most entertainment with stunning resolution at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. Let's start with Judd, your main takeaway, a Vikings overtime win against the Panthers.
First of all, if our goal is to survive long enough for this team to win a Super Bowl title, they're actively trying to kill us now on a weekly basis. So stop that, okay? Stop trying to kill us. The Lions and Panthers, stop that. As I said, there's a lot of starting places here because the Vikings won the game and Kirk Cousins led for the last drive of the fourth quarter and the drive in OT, really nice, effective drives. Mm-hmm. That's definitely without debate. So that was the good news. The bad news is, again, how do you blow that lead? Some very suspect coaching decisions, I thought, really on both sides. And it just felt like in the end, it was far tougher than it should have been against a Panthers team that actively spent most of Sunday afternoon trying to give you the football game, especially on offense, until they didn't at the end. So I am not celebrating this win like, oh man, the Vikings look great and it's fantastic. I am thinking, though, that it's nice that when the offense has to come up big, they can, because there's lots of times when they could that they don't, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely all makes sense. Because my first thought throughout the entire, well, almost the whole game, but like especially when the Panthers were coming back, was how in God's name are you playing in overtime against a team that was one of the most embarrassing, incompetent offensive performances I've seen in my life watching NFL football? They had to have had 8 or 9 drops minimum. Like, it might have been double-digit drops. The Panthers completed 40% of their passes in an NFL football game. They turned at home, by the way. They turned the ball over 3 times. They averaged 3 yards per play for the majority of the game until the last 11 points were scored and they chunked some more yardage. Like, how are you in overtime against a team that's that incompetent? You know, obviously having a punt blocked is part of it. But my second thought was, okay, this team definitely needs a breather. The Vikings, I'm talking about. They're just like in need of a bye week to sort of figure some things out. And they were never going to figure everything out during this sort of emergency self-scouting session that Mike Zimmer had the offensive coaches go through between the Lions and the Panthers games. But in the end, however they did it, they climbed out of their 0-2 hole, and they're now 3-3 going into the bye. And so this is the time where great coaches fix things, and you come out strong, and you come out with, you know, some counters to what you've been doing wrong. And we will find out everything we need to know about this team. They've set themselves up. They're back to 500 after the 0-2 start. And now they get Dallas. They get the Ravens. They get the Chargers. They get the Packers. Those are your 4 games out of the bye. So buckle up. Fix some things during the bye. If they lose this game, the season's pretty much over. But they won it. They found a way to win it. And now they've got 2 weeks to fix things and get right for a super tough stretch that will define their season. Dex, what were your main takeaways?
I want somebody fired still. I want someone fired.
Oh,
If you would have lost this game, somebody gets fired. The fact that Sam Darnold was able to hang around for as long as the Panthers did with him, wide receivers dropping passes, him being incompetent, Matt Rule and Sam Darnold did everything they could to just hand the game to the Vikings, and they still had to force overtime. If you look at the box score statistics of this game, it should make 0 sense. 0 sense how it ever went to OT. The Vikings defense finally starts to look better, but guess what? It's fourth and 10 in your own territory, and you still give up a humongous play. You gave up 28 points to that offense. That offense scored 28 points against you. I don't know if it's Clint Kubiak, too, who I didn't think also has had a great offensive game plan the last few weeks, but I still want somebody fired. I know they got to 500, but I'm pent up, and I want some heads to roll.
So,
That's
all right,
where I'm at.
so Declan wants
21.
blood.
Scored 21, which is still not great, but let's not forget the block punt.
Declan wants blood.
Yep.
Judd is just apoplectic. I am very much annoyed, but also kind of like, wow, they're 3-3 going into the bye week here. And Kirk Cousins with another game-winning drive. He was robbed of one earlier in the fourth quarter, and he throws a dart down the field to KJ Osborne. Kirk has been really good in these must-have-him late-game situations this year. He is the dagger doctor.
So just quickly,
he is Kirky McClutcherton. Don't interrupt my nicknames
just
because you want to
quickly,
rip
too.
on my guy.
No, I don't want to rip on your guy at all. I'm going to say, you know what? That it's really intriguing. A week of self-scouting, it seems to have taught people that if you throw to good receivers, even if they're covered, they can catch balls. It's allowed.
I don't think that's what they learned. I think it was like in the moments of desperation they threw to receivers that were covered, and they should learn from the moments of desperation how well they can play.
Well, yeah, but Justin Jefferson and Thielen were used in a different way today than last week. Because in Thielen's case, he was completely forgotten. And let's just say, I will be the first to recklessly speculate here, because this has not been broached all week, and I think it deserves saying. Let's just say I find it very intriguing that 18 and 19 didn't practice on Wednesday and Thursday on the injury report, and yet both seem to be absolutely fine today.
Reckless speculation.
So you think this was a Stefon Diggs situation from a couple of years ago?
I think that this is worth examining. I think Thielen's a real good team guy until he's ignored and it makes no sense and he gets PO'd. I just find it really intriguing that he didn't practice on Wednesday and Thursday. I mean, this guy's tough as nails. He didn't practice on Wednesday and Thursday. He gets taken off the report entirely on Friday and then plays today like a guy who I forget what the problem was, but I didn't see it. Let's just say in major sports markets, I don't think this would have been ignored as much, especially after what we saw.
Reckless speculation.
Interesting. All right. Well, this is your home for reckless speculation as well. So if you have speculative theories that you want to run by us, we're always open to them. Let's get right to it here, Dex. Who's first out of the gate on Vikings MetLife?
Let's go to the stadium. We got Jay. Jay, what's going on, man? How are you? You got us okay?
Hey guys, yeah, it's going great. It was a great game. But the turnovers were good to see and a little scary on our side too. So if we can clean that up, it should be good. Yeah.
Jay, Jay, how many Vikings fans were in that stadium today?
There were a lot. We got there was a skull chant going on when they were in like basically backed up to their end zone, and I'm like, I don't know about this. But yeah, there was a lot of Vikings fans there, and yeah, it was good.
So do you come away? So you were inside the stadium. You rode the roller coaster live and in person today. Like. How far down did the roller coaster go for you, and how high up is it? Like, where are you at now in terms of, after you watched that 3.5 hour or whatever it was?
It got pretty high, like right at the beginning, and then it mellowed out pretty fast. But it got pretty high there, and like I was holding my breath at that last field goal and that last drive, but we ended up pulling it out. Kirk got himself another comeback, so
Mr. GWD, Kirk Cousins, baby.
Sparrow.
He is, man. He's the secondary slayer. Jay, we appreciate you reporting live from the stadium.
Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend who is just coming out of the bathroom, got us tickets to go, and yeah, good stuff. She might want to say something real quick.
All right, sure.
You want to put in your word real quick?
All right, Jay's girlfriend. All right.
Hey.
Hi, Jay's girlfriend.
Hi, Jay's girlfriend.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
All right,
Thanks
thanks
for
you
coming
guys. I appreciate you guys coming on from the stadium. That's putting your gal on the spot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And saying out of the bathroom, too. You could have just said anything else, too, to be completely honest. But
You know, bought the tickets though.
she
She's
did.
a good girlfriend.
She
Hell
did.
of a girlfriend.
Yeah, keep those ones around.
That's why. That's what the check mark is.
Keep those
Girlfriend
ones around.
buys Panthers Vikings tickets.
man.
I might be upset. I might be like, you bought tickets to that game?
It was a pretty, but it turned into like this fun shootout back
Oh,
and
yeah.
forth, and it turned into a gunfight at the end. It was what a weird game. All right, let's keep going here. Vikings vent line.
Let's go to Alex. Alex, what's up, dude? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, can you guys hear me all right?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
what's up, Alex?
Okay. Well, man, how do I even put this into words?
Yeah, good luck.
Like,
Good luck.
I guess
Deep breath.
I'll say I'm 2 years younger than Declan. I'm 26. I might die from a heart attack from watching these damn Vikings play. Like, it's just every single cotton picking week. Like, we can never have anything easy. We can never have, just a smooth sailing game. It just always has to be filled with drama. Like, this is probably the most drama laden start to a season that I can remember.
Yeah.
And that might be saying a lot, but like, again, like you guys have said, like, how the hell do you let this team back into the game? Like, that fourth down play was atrocious when they were backed up into their end zone. Credit Sam Darnold and receivers for actually, using their hands to catch footballs, but still, like, there's no excuse for how that game ended. But I guess my dad said it best. He just texted me a little bit ago, and he said, we wanted to piss the game down our leg, but fortunately we had a catheter.
Wow, that's good.
And you know what? I think
Good
you just added another nickname to Kirk Cousins' resume. Kirk the Catheter. As the Vikings try to piss this game down their leg, Kirk the Catheter comes in and says, not on my watch.
Oh my God. Well, we should put that on a t-shirt. You guys can sell that on your Score North page.
I love that.
Alex, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate your thoughts and your insights. And you did a good job. It's hard to paint a picture after what we just watched, and I think you did a good job on behalf of fans.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's actually my second time calling in.
Awesome, man.
I called in a couple weeks ago. Forgot to mention it, but yeah, I've been watching you guys since February. Judd's Hockey Show was the first one I tuned into.
Thank you.
Back when the Wild and Knights were going at it. So appreciate the content, guys.
Appreciate
man.
you.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks
Appreciate
for
you.
jumping in here. Before we get to our next one here, just one of the points that Alex made was like, how is it that the Vikings are just always involved in games like this? It just you always just have the same kind of feeling, even when they're like playing poorly and losing, like then they find a way to come back, right? So I was just kind of curious because the Vikings to me just seem incapable of stomping out an opponent, right? Like today, they should have just won that game by like 3 touchdowns or more. Mm-hmm. So over the last 27 games, the Vikings have only taken one 20-point lead, and it was against the Lions at home last year. Mm-hmm. So I'm going back to like November of 2019, and I'm including those 2 playoff games that they played in. They've only taken one 20-point lead since basically like November of 2019 over the last 27 games. Now, I'm not saying you should just be like taking 20-point leads in every game. That's not realistic, but they coach and they play call and everything's just like a gravitational pull toward 500 and toward edge of field goal range. And they let teams back in games that they shouldn't defensively with a defensive guru head coach, right? So it's definitely frustrating that they can never just stomp somebody out. Like today against Carolina would have been a perfect game to win 31-6, and they just didn't want to, I guess.
So what's weird about them too is they play incredibly conservatively until they don't need to or can't, right? As we take a look at Kirk and Zim, I'm sure this wasn't staged one bit either.
No,
I'm
not
sure,
at all.
I'm sure that Kirk and Zim didn't say if we win, we got to hug and make it look good for Vikings.com. But what's weird is explain to me this. How can your offense look so atrocious with no plan at all on the last drive of the first half and look so damn good for 2 consecutive games on the key, what could be the last drive of the fourth quarter? And yet your defense, which for the most part was pretty stout against a bad offense today, looks so lost on that Carolina drive that tied the score. Yeah. Like that, it doesn't make sense.
Well, your defense is gonna. I think sometimes your defense is going to look gassed toward the end of a game when the opposing, like your defense is going to give up something.
Sure, they're going to give up moments. Something, but they're hemorrhaging. Like they're giving up for as good as they should be. They're giving up way too much. But the offense drives me crazy too, because we saw it again at the end of the first half. It just looks like they have no game plan. But then at the end of the fourth quarter, potentially, they're very motivated and the play calls are good. I would just like to know exactly, like this to me would be a bye week assignment for everybody.
I think if I could take what, like, the sentiment that you're putting out, like, where I agree with you is it feels like in key situations the defense bends and breaks, like end of the first half, right, against other opponents, and then end of the game today. But overall, the defense has been really, really good since the second half of that Seahawks game.
Yeah.
But I'm also trying to figure out, is it because they played Sam Darnold and Jared Goff back-to-back weeks? Like, how good is this defense really? Or are they just playing the Lions and the Panthers?
I'm sure that helps. I just don't understand what these last 2 weeks. I understand bending, but they're breaking. And that's the one time defensively where this team should not break. I mean, you've got a coach who prides himself on not breaking, and they did. And Kirk saved them again.
You also have a coach who prides himself on being a tough guy, right? Tough-minded guy, and he's one of the weakest-minded. He's one of the weakest-minded situational coaches in the NFL, and we can talk about some of those situations too throughout the show. All right, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Let's go to Octavio. Octavio, what's up, dude? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
How's it going, guys? You guys hear me?
Yes,
we
sir.
got you, man.
We got you, man.
Fire away.
Okay. I just watching this game. My dad was outside, and it's just like we were both like this the whole time. Like felt like all over again watching the Troy game, and Greg Joseph misses the game and misses the kick. I'm thinking, oh, here we go. But Kirk came out strong. I'm glad he killed it. But Zimmer, this guy is just killing me. It's like 4th and 1. It's like, nope, I won't go for it. I want to punt it. 4th and 2, I'm not going for that. It's like, come on, put the dagger in him. I'm sick of this. Just, it's frustrating to me.
Yeah.
And the Panthers, they were like 2 of 16 on 3rd down, like 2. And then the final drive, defense just falls apart. Patrick Peterson goes down. It's like, oh, yeah, we forgot how to play. Let's just stop. Like, 4th and 10, they get 40 yards. 4th and 6, they get like 25 yards to DJ Moore. And it's incredibly frustrating. And being a fan my whole life, it's just like, and you guys too, it's like, it's like I feel like I'm just watching this game over again. Like every week, I know. Three turnovers and they get 6 points out of the both. I don't think they scored off 1 turnover, and it's just like time possession. I'm looking at right here, 43 minutes to 26 minutes, and this game was that close. Like you're joking. It's ridiculous. It is.
Yeah. No, Octavio. This is great. We're losing your connection a little bit, but we got the sentiment. Awesome stuff from Octavio. Like Zimmer is. Let's just go through this scenario, and I don't know. I guess we didn't text about it, so I don't really know how you guys feel about this. But I thought it was an all-time scared coaching sequence by Mike Zimmer toward the end of that fourth quarter. You get about 2.5 minutes left. The Vikings are up by 8. And they're facing. Let's start with the 3rd down play. They're facing 3rd and 8 from like borderline field goal. Like it was like a 50-yard field goal, I think, 49 or 50-yard field goal from the 3rd and 8 play call. Yep. And again, you've got a $35 million quarterback who's been very good this season, right? Like, there's a reason why you're paying him $35 million because he's very accurate. He was protected pretty well today. No sacks allowed by the Vikings offensive line. And you hand off on 3rd down and 8, basically waving the white flag on the fringe of field goal range, saying, we're okay gaining yards here. We're good. If you throw and get a 1st down in that spot, you can ice the game by just like having the ball for another set of downs or get closer for a field goal. So the 3rd and 8 run was just an ultimate like weak-minded, cowardly, and then it blows up in their faces when they lose 4 yards, and now they're back to a 54-yard field goal. And, again, I know that Greg Joseph isn't Mr. Reliable, so it's not an automatic. But it's 4th down, and you have two choices. You can kick a 54-yard field goal that wins the game on the spot, basically, because it would put you up by 2 scores with 2 minutes left. There's almost no way for the Panthers to come back from that. Or you can punt the ball and give it back to Carolina. Yeah, you can pin them, but you give the ball back to Carolina with a chance to come down 1 score, right? And Mike Zimmer, of course, decides to punt the ball because he's only thinking about, well, if we miss the field goal, then we're going to give them good field position. It's like, bro, you're punting because you trust your defense, right? Which is even more reason to kick the field goal. Because if you make it, the game's over. But if you miss it, you trust your defense. And they still have to go 60 yards if you miss the field goal and get the 2-point conversion. And so, like, I was actually sort of taking some joy in the Panthers shoving it back down Mike Zimmer's throat, not because I wanted the Vikings to lose the game, but like, dude, this decision should blow up in your face. And they complete that 4th down pass for 40 yards down the field, and it's like, well, see, maybe you missed the field goal, but it's just such terrible, scared coaching strategy. The Vikings also settled for 2, I think it was inside the 5-yard line field goal attempts instead of trying to punch in for a touchdown on 4th down because, well, it's going to be a grinded out game. Why can't you score? Like, what do you mean it's a grinded out game? Go for it and score a touchdown, and it won't be a grinded out game. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy that they keep creating for themselves every single week with this weak-minded, cowardly approach to their offensive strategy.
My problem is not the field goal attempt. My problem is 3rd and 8. What are you doing? You passed the ball effectively. Do you not trust Kirk? Like, Kirk is, you know what, Mike? You might not like it, but right now, offensively, or hell, for your team, Kirk is one of the most trustworthy players on your team right now. So on 3rd and 8, what are you doing? And there are certain elements to today's game plan that drive you crazy, and I'll give you one quickly. I know he had 140 yards, and I know he's a really good back, but Dalvin Cook had 29 carries today playing injured, and it was clear he was hurt. Alexander Madison had 3 carries all day long. Mike is the old dad that loves the old car, and it's like, Mike, we can upgrade the car. No, really, we can. It'll be great. And he's like, no, I like on 3rd and 8. Why are you not throwing the ball? Let me go through just quickly the receivers on this team. Justin Jefferson didn't have a great day, but made at least 1 unbelievable catch and is damn good. Adam Thielen returned from being injured last week where he couldn't even practice to have a great day. And KJ Osborne, who right now might be contested catch-wise, 3rd down, your best receiver. KJ Osborne does not drop balls that the majority of human beings drop.
He's really good.
So on 3rd and 8, why are you setting anything up but a potential 1st down?
Yeah, dude, Mike Zimmer, I feel like I know that Mike Zimmer has obviously played the key role in helping this defense get back on track. But we're not really going to know until they face Dallas and until they face Lamar Jackson how good this defense is.
Absolutely.
With every other area of this team, offensive overarching philosophy, what he wants to be done in certain key situations, like when they hand off on 3rd and 8, Mike Zimmer is holding this team back in those situations. I just saw that Edwin commented on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, why are you guys so negative even after a win? Well, first of all, our expectations are for them to compete at a high level in January, all right? That's the organization's expectations too. And so just because they win barely against the Lions, and again, barely in overtime against that putrid Carolina offense, it's not going to be just like an hour and a half of positivity and sunshine on this show. There's other places you can go for that. Our expectation is for the Vikings to play better than they have the last 2 weeks. So the results have been good, but the process has been annoying. But I will say, like, on the positive side, they're 3-3. They dug themselves out of an 0-2 hole, and now they've got 2 weeks to fix some of the stuff that's been broken through the first month and a half of the season. And Kirk Cousins was excellent down the stretch again today. He bailed them out when everybody was like wondering, was Mike Zimmer going to get fired in the stadium last week? Was he going to have to wait till Monday? Like, everyone's thinking about Mike Zimmer probably getting fired with 40 seconds left. The Vikings trail the Lions, and Kirk Cousins throws 3 darts to set the Vikings up in field goal range. So that's a huge positive. Cousins in those moments has been the best he's ever been in his career in the last 6 weeks or so.
So trust him. Trust him. You have the ability to, and you don't still, and it's maddening. I think the reason why the fan base and a lot of Twitter would agree with us on this. I think the reason why we're being negative is this: the personnel is not getting the support it deserves from the coaching staff consistently. The personnel on this team deserves better. It really does. When you look at the offensive components and then you look at what there are play calling problems, there's definite trust issues that probably should not exist if you're going to be a playoff/championship team. So I'm actually not down right now on the players so much as I am how they're being coached and the philosophy. If we've always said this, right? Let's find out about Kirk. Turn him completely loose. And they're still like, oh, we will if we have to. Why?
And then when they have to,
just do it.
This season when they have to, he's been excellent.
Correct.
He's been excellent late in these fourth quarters and overtime. If you love the fact that the Vikings are back to 3-3 going into the bye, or if you feel like the coaching is holding a pretty good roster back, click the like button and the subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, and we in turn will give you daily Vikings entertainment. We'll get back to some Vikings fans here in a minute, but Judd, tell the world how you've lost 12 pounds in the last couple weeks, please.
A big shout out to our partners at Livia Weight Control Centers. Down 12 pounds and still dropping. Only 2 weeks in, you guys. 2 weeks in, 12 pounds gone. The pandemic pounds are coming off, and I'm going to tell you right now, Livia doesn't make you stop enjoying life. What they do is they put you on a plan that makes a ton of sense. I'm eating smarter, but I'm still having fun. Okay. So like, I don't want, weight loss sucks. No, imagine your clothes don't fit. And in 2 weeks they start to fit. And in 1 month, I'm going to feel great. If you want the results, Livia.com is the place to go, or 855-GO LIVEA, Livia.com. Tell them Judd and Score North sent you. We're actually starting to get some feedback from people as well, and it's fantastic. I think we've had about 4 or 5 people in the last week join.
It's awesome.
Call them, 855-GO LIVEA, Livia.com. It can change your life in the smartest way possible, and here's the best part: you'll keep the weight off. Livia.com.
My sources tell me when Judd weighed in the second time and got some favorable results, he turned to the people at Livia and said, "You like that? You like that?" Yeah, so it was a great.
And they
moment.
said yes. Like, they didn't push me away. There was no pushing.
They're not holding you back. No conservative.
We do like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Livia.com.
All right, let's get to the next set of. I guess we'll call them callers here, old school style here on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, let's go to Elijah.
Oh yeah.
Elijah with the sign on his forehead that says "mentally gone and dead inside."
Hey guys, sorry I was hiding behind my Sunday slogan here. Trying to
amazing.
Come back here. Fun little thing I just stumbled upon. The Cousins curse. No team has ever lost to Kirk Cousins and gone to the Super Bowl in the same year. So, Bill,
interesting. So you're saying that you're saying the Panthers are not going to go to the Super Bowl, and the Lions are not going to.
Well, according to statistics and long hard research, no, I will say the Panthers are not going to go to the Super Bowl.
And Dallas. So these 4 teams out of the bye are on watch here. So Dallas, Baltimore, the Chargers, the Packers. Got to be careful.
Yeah.
Watch how you step.
I think it gives these teams motivation to come back and be like, wait, we don't want to lose to Cousins. We want to go to the Super Bowl, So Cousins is just putting daggers in these teams and their dreams, man. So gotta be careful. Another day. What can you say? Most Vikings fans are just on the same level right now, not really knowing what to say. KJ Osborne is a beast, first and foremost. That guy.
He's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome. Had to rock the Adam Thielen jersey today because he also had a good day. I only watched the fourth quarter, boys, and when I watched it, I was honestly shocked because I entered the game to a missed field goal, and I was like, oh, yeah, of course. Why not start my day off right? And, of course, we get down. Kirk Cousins has an amazing last drive and ends in another missed field goal. And then I texted my friend, I'm not surprised. I'm just dead inside. And I'm no longer affected by these anymore.
You're a stoic. You are practicing meditative meditative presence while watching these Vikings games. Elijah, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you bringing the signage as well to the show. Let's keep rolling here, Dex.
Yeah,
Who's next on Vent Line?
All right, let's see where he's at this time. Chauncey, what's going on, man?
Chancey and Fargo.
How are you guys doing?
Good, man.
Garage projects today, just cleaning up the yard after that. Got a later start than I thought I would. My boy's watching on the couch, and he's like, are the Vikings going to win? I'm like, yeah, they're up. Yeah, this one's in the bag. So to go to overtime, a little disappointing. But I got a couple thoughts here, guys. So one, we should probably just give Cousins a lot of credit. He has looked really good. And I was even thinking, too, like you watch the last 3 weeks, again, of quarterback in the NFL. All right, you got Darnold. And Baker Mayfield looked like garbage. And then, and you got Goff. I know Detroit, he doesn't have – but look at some of the crap that these other teams are dealing with. I feel like I could be calling next week and saying, Cousins sucks, cut him, get him out of here again. But right now I feel like we're kind of fortunate to have the guy. It could be a lot worse, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So, But here, to your point about conservative, I think two thoughts on that with Zimmer, right? One, if your kicking game has been so poor for so many years, you should be more aggressive, period, right?
Yes.
The fact that you're sitting there, if you had Justin Tucker, maybe you do sometimes play a little safer and say, let's line up for the 47-yard kick. We have no sure kicks. We haven't for years.
Yes.
It's terrible. So you have to play much more aggressively, right?
Yes.
And then the second thing is, I think this goes to like Zimmer's 90s mentality, or like we would all say, is an 11-point lead in 1991 isn't an 11-point lead in 2021. It's just not the same. I think that back then it might have been, hey, this game is in the bag. They're not going to run up and down the street. Teams are doing that in 5 minutes all the time, not just against the Vikings, but against anybody. A 20-point lead is a safe lead, not 11. That 11 is just the number you knew. You knew that every lever that had to be pulled by the Panthers, and there were about 28 different levers and trapdoors, they worked right through them and did it. And that's with Sam Darnold. What would it be with Mahomes or so? We got to stop playing like an 11-point lead or whatever is the equivalent of what Zim thinks it is.
Yes.
And even defenses, even good defenses. Like if you look at the top, they put up the stats at the beginning of this game. The Panthers were one of the best defenses in the NFL. Vikings went up and down the field all over them, one of the best defenses. So what are they going to do against an average defense? I think the Vikings defense is just average, right? So there's so many reasons to be aggressive. I finally had it. I was texting my buddies at the end when they're coming down. I said, if he plays for a field goal in overtime here with the ball first, I am going to absolutely – that would have been fireable for me in itself. If they got to the 30 and handed it off 3 times and said, well, let's line up and try it again. Thank God for the dagger shot. Nice job, Cousins. But if the season is weird too, right? Because let's just say the Vikings won the games it feels like they should have won and lost the ones it feels like maybe they even deserve to. I don't know. It feels like they could have won every game, but I don't see the Vikings as a 6-0 team. But if you listen to Ventline, it's like, well, the fumble against the Bengals wasn't real, and we could have beat Mayfield. He was missing all over the place, and we missed the kick in Arizona. But let's be honest, nobody thinks they're really a 6-0 team, right? So what did we expect?
Yeah, well, they also could have easily lost the Lions game and the Panthers game, right? So they're probably right where they should be. They're 3-3, self-inflicted, and they got to fix some things during the bye week, and now they play 4 tough teams. And by the way, the 5th game is at San Francisco, but we're kind of looking at them like, they're mediocre, but that's a tough game too.
Well, if they go, they need to play those 4 games, just like you said, tough games. They need to play even more aggressively on offense. The idea that they're going to win close 10 to 13 games is nonsense. They should really be opening it up and seeing what will happen. So, thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Amen. Chancey and Fargo always brings the heat. Love it.
This goes back to the primary point. This team is an offensive team. This team is an offensive first team, and the head coach doesn't know it.
Yeah, and if you get out to bigger leads, if you play more aggressively, if you go for it inside the 5-yard line, go for a touchdown, guess what? You make life easier on your defense because now if you can take a 14-0 lead, or if you can get out, I brought the stat up. The Vikings in their last 27 games have only had one 20-point lead, and it was home against the Lions. If you play more aggressively and call plays more aggressively and you're philosophically more aggressively, once in a while it'll probably come back to bite you. You might throw a pick 6 or something, but overall, with the talent they have on offense, you're going to take bigger leads earlier in the game, which makes your defense much, much better and easier for them to get after opposing quarterbacks, for instance, right?
And it's troubling that you had to do a self-scout during a week of a game to find out what basically your fan base is telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Like that self-scout was not a eureka. They found something that they literally came out and did more things that they've been told to do. As much as they say we ignore the outside, well, somebody just basically did a lot of what the outside voices said to do, and they're simple things. They're very, very simple.
And we'll wait for the grades to come out on the offensive linemen just to see officially. But well, you're going to go negative, Mr. Negative. No, I was going to give props to Christian Darrisaw.
Oh yeah,
because Christian Darrisaw looked with the eye test really good today.
Yeah, it's amazing. You start your first round pick at left tackle and he works out.
Yeah, they probably should have started him
backup
last week.
Yes,
but they did start him today. I think Rashad Hill got hurt on a special teams snap early.
First field goal attempt, and he was, I think, probable to return. But my guess is that the plan was there was no reason not to play Darrisaw the entire game.
Yeah,
and he played. He looked the part. Imagine that.
Honestly, Wyatt Davis should probably get warmed up too, because Oli Udoh's grades are probably not going to be too friendly after his performance today as well.
4 penalties, man. He had a rough day.
His family was there too.
And I think Bradbury's grade will. I know you're gonna be shocked by this one. I think his grade will continue not to be fantastic.
No, they're gonna be looking for a new starting center in the offseason, almost assuredly, unless they just, I guess, unless they want to put a 4th year in. Ooh. So, all right, Dex, who's next on Vikings Vent Line?
Yeah, let's go to Jay. Jay, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How you doing?
Good, man.
Good, man. What'd you think today?
Oh, I'm irate after today. This was not good. So, first off, we have to talk about Greg Joseph because this is a huge problem. In the past 5 weeks or so, he missed the game winner in Phoenix. He missed a 48-yarder in Detroit. And I think he missed a low 50-yarder and the fourth quarter miss that would have ended the game. So Greg Joseph is really bad. He is going to lose you a game 100% this season. This is a problem, right? If either you have to be super aggressive on offense, and even if you are, Greg Joseph's still probably going to miss something. But regardless, this is a huge problem. I think you need to look for a new kicker because this is going to come back and bite you hard. But then I think the real problem here is that when you go back and look at the scores over every single game this season, they either win or lose by 2 points, 3 points. And this is so weird, right? Because it gives you the illusion of hey, you could be 5-0, you could be 6-0, right?
Yeah.
You're so close. But you could also be 0-6 or 1-5, right? And so when you keep ending up in these close game situations, right, I just don't understand. And this game was just such a microcosm of that. In the first half, your offense was not good. And you get your offense fixed. Then your special teams breaks down. Then you fix your special teams. And then your defense breaks down, right? Whack-a-mole. Every single moment of the game, something is wrong. And it's never the same thing. And it's never the same thing over and over again, right? Either the offense sucks, the defense sucks, special team sucks. And it's one or the other. And I just don't understand it, right? And so, it's so frustrating to watch this team because they have the personnel to get stuff done. But for some reason, there's just some common denominator. That's probably Mike Zimmer. That's just keeps this team in this perpetual state of just playing down to their opponent. Which
yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, no, Jay, those are a lot of good points, man. Thanks for
Jay.
coming on the show. We appreciate it. Wouldn't you guys be curious to see this whole thing operate with a different head coach, just to see what would these first 6 games have looked like?
But to Jay's point, I will say this: what Jay just described is largely on a week-to-week basis. This league, there's a lot of offense playing well, defense not, special teams not. So what he's describing, if you watch games, is super common. I think from the eye test, what bothers me the most is the fact that there are certain elements of these games where the decisions cause the problems.
Mm-hmm.
So if things break down, like the block punt, it's a breakdown, it's bad. But I don't think it's a reflection of special teams sucks now. I actually think that the Vikings have taken at least a step, besides the missed field goals, to correct that. Because a year ago, it was awful, inexcusably bad. But what gets me is the timing of things. And when we see direct examples of what this team can do offensively, late in games, oh my gosh, they're going right down the field, attempting a field goal, scoring a touchdown. But late in the first half, they look like they're completely unprepared. So I'm not surprised that at certain times things struggle. My question becomes, are you self-inflicting this almost through coaching? And my answer with a lot of this from the Viking standpoint is yes. And that's why I think it's actually correctable. And it drives you crazy that they don't correct it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I don't know. It's so frustrating to watch all of these weapons and this quarterback having one of the better 6-game stretches of his career. Like he's disappeared for some chunks, but he's also been great late in games. Mm-hmm. And to see them just grinding to get, an overtime win over the Panthers and having to claw back with 40 seconds left against the Lions, it's like it just feels like this isn't a perfect roster by any stretch of the imagination, but it just feels like the record should be better, the eye test should be better, and we'll see what happens after the bye here. I'm just reading some of the quotes that are coming out here. Kirk Cousins said, quote, "A win's a win in this league. Hard fought, not the way you want to win every week. You want to win cleaner." So it seems like the same sentiment in that locker room. Like there's more upside here. KJ Osborne said, quote, "Offense left some plays on the field. This game was way closer."
He said, "I'm great."
Than it should have been.
He said, "I'm good, guys. You see those catches I made today? I'm good."
He is. Guy's
KJ's
awesome.
good.
Listen, whether it's for therapy or whether it's a celebration after the Vikings won the game here, Surly should be your drink of choice on Vikings football Sundays.
In fact, you might see that I've got one right here, and in particular, the Surly Furious, which was, let's just say, the star of a pregame Gopher tailgate yesterday.
Yeah.
Surly Furious, the best IPA in town, one of the best in the country. And in fact, if you are from out of town, find out how you can get your hands on it, because once you start, you're not going to want to stop. It's that good. Surly is the IPA that revolutionized beer in the state. Don't settle, get Surly, and you might want to enjoy one today.
Just don't throw into a Panthers receiver because they'll probably drop it.
Oh God,
the can will crack open.
I might look like one, as Art says. I can't make it more obvious. I shot 50 on the front 9 today, Art. That's why I'm wearing this blue pullover. So
yeah. You had to leave your Panthers colors on then, huh?
I had to bail at 12. It was 11:40. I had to get back in time for the game. Commitment, man.
Dedication.
Left a lot of shots out there.
A lot of shots out there. Well, one could say it was my best round all year because I really only shot a solid 62 through 12 holes or whatever it was. So,
all right, let's get to our next guest here on Vikings Vent Line.
Let's go to Eldon. Eldon, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey guys, nice to be back. So I had a couple thoughts today. First, if we had the last drive that the Vikings scored and then that first drive in overtime throughout the whole game, it would look a lot better. It's that middle part where the Vikings, I don't know if they're going to sleep or what. And with all of that, I think the best thing for the Vikings offense is for Case Keenum to come in and tell Kirk, go rogue. Go rogue. Throw out the script. Just go.
Just close your eyes and throw the ball down the field and
trust those guys.
Just deal with Mike Zimmer's angst later.
And I had to listen because I live in Wisconsin, so the Packers were on. So I listened to the Paul Allen radio call and heard a little of the after game show before you guys came on to save me.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that more of Cousins' teammates are coming out to speak highly of him and defend him. And it started a couple years ago with Diggs. When Diggs left, he said to say, no, it wasn't Cousins why I left. You don't hear that from Washington. I think that's a good sign. The other thing I think we're maybe sleeping on is we should bring back George Edwards. The defense has been so bad since he left. Let's bring him back and actually have him call plays this time. Just tell Mike, step back. We're going to let George call. You make bad game time decisions because the offense is going to go rogue, and you won't lose your job like Mike McCarthy for being too conservative.
Sure. Eldon, a bunch of good stuff there. Appreciate you coming on. We'll get you on again sometime. I don't think, I'm not down on the defense right now. I know they ideally they wouldn't have given up points near the end there, but the defense was incredible, as they should have been for the majority of that game today and last week and against the Browns and second half against the Seahawks. So sometimes I feel like, well, if the defense gives up 20 points or gives up a couple bad drives, that's every team in the NFL. Go look at the Chargers defense today against the Ravens. Go look at the Chiefs defense every week so far this year.
Oh, it's awful.
It's not about pitching a clean sheet or a shutout defensively every week, which is, I think, what Mike Zimmer dreams about every single night, right? Sometimes it's about maximizing your offensive output so your defense has an easier time. And that's what I'm more focused on here. How do they get more clean win? That seems to be the theme coming out to looking at the quotes is like how we just like Cousins, Osborne, they're all just sort of longing for more, like reaching the upside of the offense's potential and just having more of a clean win in a game like today. And I don't think the defense is to blame for that today.
On the defense in particular, I am very curious, like you are, to see these next 4 games, because that to me is going to say, hey, these guys are legitimately tough, or, oh boy, you played the Panthers, which were, I mean, Sam Darnold, my God, they need a quarterback still, obviously, and Detroit. So these next 4 out of the bye to me become very intriguing. And the secondary question that I have off late in that game today, Patrick Peterson clearly pulled a hamstring, I think.
It was a cramp. It was a cramp.
Oh, just a cramp? Because if he's fine, that's huge, because he's played pretty well. If I got to go Dantzler, Breland in my secondary, I'm a little bit concerned. But Bashaud Breeland did pick off. He set the tone, the first Darnold pass of the day, which means I hope he goes to Twitter and he tweets what he thinks of you fans now. Bashaud
has
Breeland,
anyone seen his Bashaud Breeland tweeted anything yet?
You can all kiss you know what. Bashaud Breeland picked off a pass.
All right, I think we've got Bob in Pennsylvania in a hot tub, right? Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
dear
Bob.
God, yes, Bob.
Oh my God.
What's up, guys?
Bob, what's happening, man?
Hey, listen. Today
I'm not gonna copy
is the
that.
day where
Is that Dave Matthews Band in the background? What's happening?
I'm celebrating now.
Pearl Jam.
Better.
I'm having a beer. I'm in the tub, celebrating a big win. But more than that is today is a day where the team, the Minnesota Vikings, have seen the light. We finally have seen what can happen when you throw the ball on first down to win the game in a game-winning situation. And behind me is an example of
All the bubbles.
the same thing. Finally seeing the light. Finally seeing the light. Just look at that. Is that a beautiful thing?
Great.
For the audio audience, Bob has used his remote. His remote control blinds are now up.
Finally seeing the light. Skull.
Let's get it, Bob. Let's get it. I like it. Bob in a Pennsylvania hot tub. Metaphors all over the place.
Local Banner IPA. I don't have access to Surly, but I wish I did. I mean, hey, you guys can gladly send me a pack. I'll pay for it.
You got it, Bob.
That's Bob in a hot tub in Pennsylvania,
Thanks, Bob.
bringing metaphors for life, really, not just the Vikings.
That's
for life.
That's unbelievable. Like he came with props.
I'm a big Bob in Pennsylvania guy, big time.
The only thing with Bob, he's in far too good of shape for a guy his age. Like he's in, like you could tell, Bob's sort of chiseled, and he's probably 50.
You're saying old people can't be chiseled?
I'm saying usually you see guys like Bob that watch a lot of sports, drink beer. They're not in as good a shape. Good for Bob.
Yeah, maybe they just don't.
Good for Bob.
Maybe they lead healthier lifestyles than you before you met Livia.
Livia.com.
Now
If you
you
want
want
to
to
look,
like
look
Bob.
at the chin. The chin's going away. Face thinning out. Beard might go away. You never know.
Judd's gonna be calling from a hot tub from Vent Line here.
He is.
From
He just
SLP.
chiseled Judd.
Me and
SRO
Don and
Judd.
Stella all sitting in the hot tub smoking cigarettes and drinking Surly.
Reminds me of like the dog in the movie Road Trip. I
Yes.
can't say what the dog said, but the dog told the wife to make him some blueberry pancakes while Dad was high. That's gonna be Judd.
That's a great one.
All right, who's next on Vikings Vet Line?
All right, we got a lot of these guys in queue. We got Alex. Alex, what's up, man? You're
what's
on
up,
Vikings
Alex?
Vent Line.
Hi, guys. So I just have one critical point here. So I just looked up the top 25 scoring leaders in the NFL, and they're all kickers. And I just don't quite understand why we can't sign a veteran after basically filtering through so many kickers, so many different missed field goals and missed games. I just don't understand why we can't sign a veteran and solve the problem.
Yeah, no, Alex, it's thanks for coming on. I don't know. I don't understand why a guy like Kai Forbath was just out of the league 2 years ago. Is it because he doesn't have the biggest leg? He's not going to stand in there and just bomb from 60 yards like Justin Tucker. But so, some of this is I think teams get so focused on the big leg, like a guy that can line it up, and you got to make sure he's got enough leg from 55 yards. I mean, I'd rather have a guy that doesn't get nervous when the game's on the line. And Greg Joseph made that kick against the Lions, but also, like, I almost feel like that was a little bit of house money there, that everyone had kind of resigned to the loss after the 2-point conversion. And then, like, if they happen to pull out a miracle win in the end, when he's lining up against the Cardinals and then when he's lining up here, some of it might be on the road. You know, it is tougher. And Mike Zimmer made reference to the wind being a factor there, and it oftentimes is in those outdoor stadiums. But, God, it's just like, for me, it's just as much about Greg Joseph's lack of experience slowing his heart rate in a situation like that, right? He just hasn't had many of them.
What I don't get is this. If I was Zim's GM, I would sit Mike down and say, one of our real investments is going to be a veteran kicker who might miss sometimes, but we can rely on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, look at how games end all the time. It's not like, well, it's the kicker. I mean, who really cares? Guys are now routinely hitting, you know, to end games, 55-yarders, 58, right? I want to give myself the best chance possible. I would rather pay a kicker and be like, I'm paying him a little bit too much to have the peace of mind that when I go to bed on Saturday, I trust he's going to potentially, and there's a good chance he might have to, win the game on Sunday. That's they always go garage sale shopping for kickers. They're like, okay, here's the 5-cent bin. Let's pick one out. It's like, no, this is one of the, ultimately for this coach and this team, it's one of the most important positions. Because you know what? You should have ended that game at the end of the fourth quarter. It's done. You walk away. Instead, it's like, okay, now you got to go to OT. So I don't understand the thought process between Mike and Rick about why that position is not imperative to have a really good veteran who you can trust at maybe slightly more than you would ordinarily like to pay, but you'd be willing to pay.
Here's another disconnect. So Mike Zimmer, let's just play this backwards. Let's go to when they were up by 8 and they're on the fringe of field goal range and they're facing, I think it was like a 4th and 11 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Zimmer runs out the punting unit. So Mike Zimmer's telling you, 54-yard field goal, I don't trust Greg Joseph.
Right.
We're going to punt. Okay, rewind to the 3rd and 8 play right before that.
Yep.
If you don't trust your kicker in that situation, why are you handing off on 3rd and 8 in the first place? If you get 3 yards, do you trust him now? You know, it's just, is the difference between a 54-yarder and a 48-yarder, let's say, in that situation, that's the trust gap? Because Greg Joseph's got leg from 54. He just made a 54-yarder last week. So you don't trust him. You punt because you don't trust him to win the game for you and put the Vikings up by 2 scores.
Correct.
But one play before on 3rd and 8, you hand the ball off because you don't trust your quarterback.
Right.
I would respect it more if there was actual like linear, I guess, strategy. Like if his thoughts were the same in that situation every time. But it's like Mike Zimmer just licks his finger and sticks it up in the wind and has no actual like strategic alignment in those situations. It doesn't make any sense.
Those two things said to me that he doesn't trust his quarterback, his offense, his kicker, or his defense. Because basically his mind is let's back him up as much as possible.
But he's like, no, but I do trust my defense. That's why I'm punting. So no. If you trusted your defense, you'd kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Because if you make the field goal, the game's over. And if you miss the field goal, you trust your defense to stop them from going 60 yards.
Yep.
It's like, who's next? Who's next on VetLine?
Yep.
I'm next on VetLine, actually. I'm just going to bitch about the team.
Hello.
Oh.
All right, Alec and Austin.
Yo, can you hear us?
We got you guys. What's up?
All right. Yeah. Go! 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 Let's go!
There we
go.
go.
I just want to give a shout out. This TCL, we got a TCL TV.
Oh, you guys.
Great. It's great.
Hold on, we're gonna hit you. We're gonna hit you with a little.
You like that?
Yeah.
You like that?
There we go.
Yeah, you like that?
He's actually a Buccaneers fan, so he's one of the lucky ones. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
So you guys are pumped. You guys are feeling the 3-3 going into the bye, and it's positivity here from you guys.
Nope, not at all.
That dude.
I'm actually gonna defend Judd's 14-minute preseason pie chart of blame or his little meltdown because I am totally with him. That was, I don't know what we're thinking. The team's not gonna go anywhere this year. It's trade Kirk, it's trade Dalvin, trade Thielen, get rid of Harrison Smith, just start over, fire Zimmer.
Let's go, Brandon.
Let's see who else is there that's any value of the team. Get rid of them. We're gone. We're done.
When is the trade deadline? How many Vikings can be traded in the next month is basically what you're saying.
Or just after the season's over. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. No, Judd was on point at the beginning of preseason when he was freaking out because that was the way the team was looking. I don't know how we won 3 games. We should be 0-6. I mean, we got lucky against the Lions. We got lucky today.
I think you guys, Eric Kendricks might have just spoken on behalf of the entire team and every fan who's watched the first 6 games this year.
Yep.
Eric Kendricks, quote, after another roller coaster Vikings game, quote, "I'm exhausted with it. We've got to put a full game together." Eric Kendricks is exhausted by it. Yep. Cousins is saying he's exhausted by it. KJ Osborne. So, come on, Vikings. Let's get it together.
Yeah, I'm over it. Just hit reset. I mean, every team does it every 20 years. So a team's got to reset at least once. It's time for us to do it. And actually, I'm tired of the 9-7 every year. Like, it's not working. You got to just hit the reset and start over.
Alec and Austin.
Yeah,
great
exactly
stuff.
right.
Bringing the skull chant. Bringing
Super Bowl.
Bringing
Super
the
Bowl,
realism.
baby.
Love it.
We'll skull to the Super Bowl, but we're not gonna keep sculling if you're not gonna keep winning.
That's right.
Yep.
Appreciate you, boys.
Print the shirts. Print the shirts. Thanks for supporting TCL as well. Always like it when people support the sponsors.
It's nice, DB.
Let's keep rocking here on Ventline, Purple Daily.
Let's go to Coach Ben. Coach Ben in Florida. What's up, man?
Hey, Ben.
Well, let me just say this. Thanks to the clutch quarterback, that's Kirk Cousins, saving the cowardly head coach from being fired, the Vikings are not only 3-3, and I just looked up the standings, they would be the 7th seed in the playoffs if the season ended today. They do not deserve that. But thanks to the clutch quarterback saving the cowardly head coach, here they are, right here. And they will have a crack at Dallas, Los Angeles, and Green Bay, 3 teams that are ahead of them in the standings. You know, at this point, if you're Mike Zimmer, what do you have to lose? Just go all in on Cousins. You might get fired, but you could beat Dallas, you could beat Los Angeles, and the teams that they have coming up are not perfect teams. They have flaws that can be exploited. So again, Zimmer just needs to admit that Cousins is saving his job and a lot of people's jobs in Egan for that matter. Yeah. Just go in on Cousins. It's amazing. Go in on Cousins. They can rush the passer this year. They couldn't do that last year. They rushed the passer well this year on defense. Just do enough on defense and just let the offense score 30, 40 points a game. Just stop with this, conservative stuff. I'm a little bit sick and tired of it. It is just that's why they're 3-3 and at the 7th spot in the playoffs, even though they don't really deserve that.
So the most important thing to your point, though. So the very key thing, I think that the way the bye week should be spent, Ben, is very simple. I think it should be spent telling Mike and convincing Mike what you just said, which is your quarterback's playing great. Your offense has skill position players that are outstanding. You need to go in on to save yourself. You need to do something that's going to make you incredibly uncomfortable. Acknowledge that you need to go in on that, and your defense can still be good and solid, but until you embrace your offense's potential and possibilities and you don't get skittish at really, really bad times, you are going to have problems and probably get fired. But if you go in and why wouldn't you, at this point, guys, embrace the Kirk experience? Like, okay, worst case, it blows up. Well, a lot of things can go wrong anyway. Mm-hmm. Best case, though, he plays like this. And now you're like, Eureka, this is the Cousins that we thought that we signed in 2018. So I really think before you do a self-scout, before you grind the film, Mike needs to be sat down and told, you don't see this because you can't. It's a blind spot for you, but this team actually has potential. And that's my point about personnel. The personnel on this team is not reflective to me of the record or how they are playing at times which is how do you put together a complete game? You unleash this thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's all over the roster. It's all over the roster too. Great receivers. I think the offensive line has just been okay. They're not great. The offensive line is just okay. Defense, I don't think they're great. They're just, okay. They have things to work with, and I really hope Zimmer takes the bye week to look at this, because this is his last rodeo. Why not? Why not just go, just go all in on Cousins. And if we win 4 in a row, great, we win 4 in a row and we're in the thick of things, Just stop with this just stop with the halfway stuff. Go all in on Cousins, just ride it out. And if I get fired, at least I went down trying.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Ben in Florida, man. Always love your insight. We'll talk to you probably after the bye, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Great stuff, man. Let's keep it going.
Right. You like that?
Vikings vent line.
Let's go to David B. David B., what's up, man? You're on
up, David?
Vikings vent line.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Good, man.
Pretty good, man.
This is my first time on the show, and I can't think of a better time to be on the show. So I have a few things I want to talk about this game. Yeah. And wait, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
We got you good.
Gotcha, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I thought the offensive line played okay. Darisaw finally started, thank God. Oli Udo, I don't know what the heck that was from him, but whatever. Brian O'Neill, I saw Brian O'Neill get pancaked a couple of times. I don't know what that was. And the defense, first 3 quarters, played very, very well. And then I saw a stat in the 3rd quarter. It was like total yards. And the Vikings had like 403 yards to the Panthers' 150.
Yeah.
And any other decent coach would have them winning that game by at least 20.
Mm-hmm. Like,
that's insane to me. And, oh my God! Don't even get me started on the run. All.
It's okay. Hey, man, we're your therapist here.
It's okay. Yeah,
this is free therapy. We're not even charging you
deep
for
breath.
this.
Take a deep breath. Lay down potentially. Whatever you need to do.
Oh, I need this show, Judd. I love
That's why we're here for you.
Mackie, Judd, Declan.
Pro bono work
so,
too, Sunday.
So Jonathan Vilma and Kenny Albert, I don't like them, but Jonathan Vilma said something in the game. He was like, Alexander Madison is not even close to as explosive as Dalvin Cook is. And I'm like, yes, he is. Yes, he is. Did you see that game against Seattle? And did you see the game against Detroit? He is. He's not as good, but he's very close, I feel like.
He's good.
So, Justin Jefferson, throw the ball to him 20 times a game, please. And just open up Adam Thielen. Just open up Adam Thielen, because they forgot about him today. He had an insane game. And that one catch, like, to the side of the end zone, that was an insane catch and a really good throw by Kirk. And I just want this team – like, I'm 18 years old, and I feel like I'm 50.
Man, this is the before and after. This is David before, and then over here next to that can of Surly is David after a full season
of
Viking
football.
Yes. Man, when I turn 21, I am getting all the Surly I can.
Yes,
I'm getting all the Surly.
We need some. This would be illegal for Surly to do, but like maybe there's a farm system or something of future Surly drinkers. But that's probably how cigarettes got in trouble back in the day, so we shouldn't do that.
I need some Chill Boys. I need some Chill Boys. I need some Surly. I need a TCL. I need Federated Insurance. I need all 4.
This is awesome.
Don't forget
Amazing.
that.
Well, David, we're here for you. We gotta get to some other Vikings fans, but we appreciate you being a fan of the show and a fan of the team. We'll get you on again sometime. All right.
Come back soon. Talk to us again.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that's David going through his therapy. So they won the game, okay, guys. They won the game. They're 3-3 going into the bye week.
He's 18. That poor guy sounded like he was 45. I thought he was an old guy.
Speaking of Federated, by the way, I do want to tell people, listen, if you're a business owner and you're looking for the best risk management resources and tools, you're looking to protect your bottom line, looking to protect your employees, Federated is here for you for over 100 years. Federatedinsurance.com. Click on Risk Management Corner, and remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. We're about an hour into this thing. Vikings Vent Line, daily Vikings entertainment on Purple Daily. If you click the subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, then we'll give you that daily Vikings entertainment. You can also always find the audio versions of these shows on scorenorth.com, the Score North app, Apple, Spotify, and please click the like button as well if you are sick of the Vikings barely squeaking by mediocre to putrid teams. Click the like button if you want the Vikings to be just better than we've seen them in these first 6 games. All right, who's next, Declan?
All right, let's go to another loyal listener. Let's go to Alex in Texas. Alex, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Event Line. Good to have you back.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's up,
man.
Alex?
How are you?
Yeah, first of all, the last caller, Dave, if you were in Texas, you could have a surly at a bar as long as you're with your guardians. In Texas,
There you go. And Judd can be the guardian.
Under 21, because in Texas, if you're under 21 but you were the relative, you can have a drink.
Should have moved to Texas.
I'm sports
That's
dad.
good. Yeah. He also forgot about Moon Motorsports. That's where you got Can-Am Spider. You know.
Yeah, 50 years family owned and operated too.
How much would this team use DeFilippo as the offensive coordinator right now?
Oh, you want DeFilippo back?
Well, he believed in Kirk. He threw the ball more with Kirk than any of the 2 coordinators after him. I mean, he knew what he had in Kirk. I mean, couldn't be that bad. And also, I disagree with Dave on the last caller. Dalvin Cook is more explosive than Alexander Madison, because that run against Detroit last week, Dalvin Cook scores on that long run. He doesn't get caught like Alexander Madison. But I think I'm going to say what everybody else has been saying. If the conservatism from Zimmer is the thing that drives me nuts more than any other team. He gets a 16-point lead like he did today, and it's just run, 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 run. Do you think Sean McVay with the Rams, if he gets a 16-point lead, does he stop throwing it? Cliff Kingsbury from Arizona, does he stop throwing it? No, they don't. They just keep going. I think he needs, talk about scouting, he needs to self-scout himself and be like, something needs to change, and I think that's what needs to change is the conservative. He's way too conservative when he gets a big lead. He just, it's like 90s football, like the earlier caller said. I think that's the biggest issue with this team is when we get a big lead, you just get so conservative, and the other team is like, well, they're conservative, so let's let us get aggressive, and then you end up blowing another double-digit lead like they have. So I don't know what the fix is. I don't know if it's a new coach. I like Zimmer personally. I think he's a cool guy, but I don't know if he is the coach to take us to the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And
Alex,
by the way, Judd, it's Super Bowl homeboy.
Oh. What did I say?
You said something else, but it's Super Bowl homeboy from our boy Moss.
Yeah. I don't even know if I was referencing his line, but yes, you are correct.
Alex in Texas, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Alex.
Appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, this is the tough thing too, in that Zimmer's not a bad NFL head coach over 8 years. He has a winning record, like 15-6. I think it's like 17 games over 500 because they're back to 500 this season. But it's what do you want to be as a franchise? Do you want to be a franchise that wins a Super Bowl at some point? And do you think Mike Zimmer can make the adjustments needed to win a Super Bowl? And I've been very much hesitant to call for his head. I wanted to see him this season, and I've seen so many things in these 6 weeks that just make it very obvious that unless he has a major overhaul of some of the ways that he views, strategy during the bye week, I just don't think he's capable of leading this team to a Super Bowl.
And I think
maximizing the offense.
And I think the question at 3-3 now is very simply, what is the way to maximize this team when you get back from the bye week. So like not about 2000, not what is your potential philosophy for 2022, right? Not who is your quarterback going to be. I think the way that you maximize it is you break down these games and realize the identity of this team. And right now, I don't think that they are consistently, that there are times, I don't think they consistently play to their strengths. And I think that fact within games really causes problems that you shouldn't cause. Well, like I honestly think there's times that the coaching gets in the way of the potential success, and that causes the problems, and it clogs things up. And then they're like, okay, now we got to go down and drive. Well, guess what? It works. The Detroit game plan and a portion of today's made more sense, but there were a portion of today's and the entire Lions game plan to me that did not make sense. And I don't know why you would. I don't know why you would go against what you see is working.
All right, who's next? Vikings vent line.
Let's go to Dan. Dan, what's up, man? You're on Vikings vent line.
What's up? What's up, y'all? Good to see y'all
What's
again.
up, Dan? Thanks for coming on, man.
I'm fired up right now. I've been pacing for a little bit now. So, okay, guys. Okay. Like I said last week, this team is so predictable. Okay? Like, I was literally calling everything, even penalties happening today. I'm so done with this coach, bro. Like, I'm so done. It's insane because this. Let me say this. The typical, most quintessential Vikings play. We got that interception on the first throw of the game, right? We get the ball in the red zone. The whole universe knew that they were going to hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook right there. My unborn baby knew we were going to hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook right there. Why can't you utilize the play action pass when you have like one of the best play action quarterbacks in the league, and you got Jefferson, you got Thielen, that you have that team on their heels on the second play of the game, and we lose yards on that play when we could have probably scored a touchdown on a play action, what proves my point is he was tearing them up on play actions like all game, moving the Kirk out of the pocket. And it's that, again, everyone's been saying it, the conservative play calling. We're not going to win a Super Bowl like that. We're not going to win a Super Bowl like that. I don't care how good the defense is. Like, 4th and 10, he was in the end zone. Darnold was in the end zone, and he threw a great pass. We couldn't make a stop then. Your defense isn't what's carrying this team, and he's holding this team back, y'all. He's holding this team back. And also, does anyone have statistics on Greg Joseph's field goal misses? Because it seems to me that they're all going to the right. Like, is that not coachable, or is that just me?
Yeah, I think his game winner against the Cardinals went right as well, didn't it?
You just brought up a good point because I've got kicking spies.
Oh, my God. Wow.
I got a note to your point because you just hit it.
Football.
I got a kicking source that told me that Greg Joseph says, if you want me to try that field goal, get me on the left hash because it's going to come back right. And that the Cardinals game and today they had him kick from the right hash. And I believe if you go back and watch the Lions game, he was on the left hash.
Really? So he has told them.
Yes.
Now, I guess we could do a deeper dive and say, is that too high maintenance of an ask for an NFL kicker to like need the ball on the left hash for a 50-yard field goal? But the Vikings love to run the ball. Like if they love to run, if he's saying left hash, just go left. Yeah.
You'll be on the left hash.
Yeah.
Could I say?
Good point, though.
Could I also say, like, Dalvin Cook, as good as he is, like, it's okay to use him as a decoy, you know? Like, the Panthers defense was obviously locked in on him the whole game. And, like, dude, like, they would show an instant replay and you would see receivers open downfield. Like, they were biting on the run, like, the whole game. And, yeah, he had a good game, but, like, bro, like, it's mind-boggling to me in so many situations that they should be throwing the ball. They probably could have played action like every other play, and we would have gone down the field. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
I'll stop.
No, dude, this is great, Dan. Dan, this is great. Thanks for coming on. Definitely come on again. Awesome. That was one of the best calls of the week here so far. The Vikings ran so many plays today. The Vikings ran like 84 offensive plays, and so a lot of them were passes down the stretch. I'd have to go break out because they wound up throwing 48 passes, which is a ton of passes. But they also ran the ball 36 times for 198 yards. So there's a lot to sift through here. But in general, it felt like Mike Zimmer put an edict over this entire offense and said, "Listen, we're gonna kick field goals inside the 5-yard line. We're gonna take our points, except when we go for 2, which is weird. Why would you kick field goals inside the 5 and then go for 2? It's like just kind of seems backwards. If we need Kirk to bail us out, then I guess we'll cross that bridge, and that's the bridge they've had to cross 2 weeks in a row at the end. Let's get to the next one here.
Let's go to Danny in Colorado. Danny, what's up, man? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Yeah, I just want to say to Ryan, first of all, wow, you're 18 and you feel 50? Wait till you're like Judd and I. I'm 51. I turned 52 in February, 1982, first game. I got hooked. Vikings beat the Falcons in the playoffs, and I was done. So I'm like, poor guy. I hope you can handle it, because at this point, I don't care how much red meat I eat. I don't care how much beer I drink, because it's the Vikings that will probably be the end of me. But, yeah, I love Furious. Moving to Colorado from Phoenix, that's the beer, and I found it here, and I love Furious. Loved it up in Minneapolis when I was there. So my thing is, like, with this offense, I mean, you know what? They did get 34 points. This is one of the better defenses, and I am not trying to be a pie-in-the-sky Viking fan with rose-colored glasses, but I'm telling you, I think the offense is getting better. We finally found a third receiver. We saw that on that final touchdown. And we have Kirk, who came with 2 late-game come-from-behind wins, and here we are on the road. So I got to give the guy credit. Can you guys tell me, was that Dantzler on that coverage for the defense at the end of the game where they got it across the middle that set them right? Judd's nodding because I'm like, wow, because I was hoping he could be the answer to Breland. But that was kind of freak to me. I don't know. I just still think they're heading the right direction. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team, but at this point, they are moving in the right direction. But, yeah, we got to get a coach that like actually wants to be involved in the offense.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking Bieniemy in next year. I like what he brings. But right now, I mean, they're moving in the right direction, but they're not a Super Bowl team. Certainly not.
Danny in Colorado, man. Thanks for coming on, bringing some good insight. Your taste in beer seems to be impeccable.
Impeccable.
Yes. That's awesome. All right, who's next, Declan? Vikings Vent Line rolling on here.
A very appropriate name. Not so wide right. What's up, man? How you doing? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
Hey guys, can you hear me all right?
Yep,
yeah, we got you.
All right, so I'm gonna bring a balanced attack here. We got an equal mix. I don't just want to have all passing positivity, but I don't just want to run the ball in negativity. So we're gonna pass to set up the run here.
Love it.
I'm liking the defensive line rotation so far. At one point there was a stat that flashed. I think they have more sacks through the first 5 or 6 games than they had all of last season.
Sounds right.
That's
And
probably
basically the entire fourth quarter.
They had 4 sacks today, so they now have 21 on the season, which is about what they had last year. Yeah.
I can get down with that. I found a single Vikings bar in the general Milwaukee area, and every Vikings fan in there, you could tell when there was supposed to be a holding call when either Hunter, Wanham, or Griffin was getting absolutely tackled in the backfield for Darnold to get out. So amazing that you can get tackled and still get pressure. Also, yeah, I think my biggest complaint with Kirk over the last couple of years has been his inability to sense pressure and shuffle like a Tom Brady in the pocket, for instance. I saw at least 2 what would have been was able to kind of shimmy his way out of, which was very encouraging to see. I saw that coming, and I just kind of closed my eyes waiting to hear the ball was loose, and then he got out for a 16-yard run, so great. Now we're going to run the ball a little. You know, when you're driving late at night and you think you're okay, but you're kind of drifting a little, and it's not till that other car's headlights and you hear the horn right in front of you that you swerve, and all of a sudden you're awake and now you're alert. I feel like that blocked punt was the oncoming driver that makes you wake up. And I'll say, okay, now we'll call some plays. Now let's play the game.
Yeah.
Because I felt like they were just asleep at the wheel until that block punt, and now it's, oh shoot, we're losing. Okay, all right, time to kick it into gear. That was really just my biggest takeaway from all that. I went out to that one Vikings bar with my mom. She hasn't watched a Vikings game in a few years, and watching Sam Darnold stop playing like the Jets Sam Darnold and start playing like week 1, 2, 3 on that final drive.
Yeah.
She ordered a shot of Bullet bourbon and said, if they tie this game, I might go back to not watching. I convinced her to stay and watch till the end. So she saw the touchdown drive. So I might have redeemed her into continuing to watch. But
love it, man. Not so
some
wide range.
Suspect play calling.
Bring in some great stuff. We appreciate it. Finding a Vikings bar behind enemy lines over there in Milwaukee too. It's very very brave.
It's a Vikings, Packers, and Browns bar.
Oh, interesting.
Browns.
Well, yeah, the Browns are just kind of a random ad there.
Yeah. The Browns
All right, do we have? Looks like we have.
We have
at
a
least
couple
one
more here.
Okay.
And Matt, if you're in the background there, turn on your camera, and I'll get you on here in just a second here. What's in the meantime though? We'll go to Cole. Cole, what's up, dude? You're on Vikings Vent Line.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, Cole.
Hey, a couple of things. I think my Wi-Fi's a little spotty here. Y'all have had a couple of calls from Austin, Texas here too. We have one sole Vikings bar down in South Austin warehouse. Hopefully we'll see y'all there.
Nice.
But a couple of different things I wanted to bring up here, guys. Declan, you said something that this was the most incompetent offense you've ever seen. You didn't watch that game that we had Josh Freeman on. That was
That's right.
That was the most incompetent offense I've ever seen. But I'm gonna argue with y'all a little bit here. I think that this is a process. I think that Zim is starting to go through a little bit of a transformation here. He told the offense to scout themselves, and I think the passing in this game was different. And I'll emphasize that by an.
Oh no!
Oh, we lost him.
Cole got dropped there.
All right, I think what he was going to say is they were taking. Maybe I'm wrong on this. They were taking some more aggressive shots down the field. And it looked like that to us as well.
Yeah.
So the offense ultimately, it felt like they were calling plays and running this offense with training wheels again in the first half at times. And then I agree with the sentiment that the block punt kind of woke everyone up, and they're like, okay, we got to hit the gas pedal.
16 points, right?
And then it just became, all right, let's throw the ball on the field, let's chunk it, and let's get some guys open on the run too and get some yards after the catch. So it felt more aggressive in the second half. All right, who's next on Vent Line?
Let's go to Matt. Matt, what's up, man? You got some
Matt.
Beautiful scenery in the background. Where are you at?
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I'm just hanging out here, fresh air, Centennial, just down the road from a golfer's paradise. Got a fresh bottle Surly Darkness waiting for me at home, so just trying to soak it up, the fresh air, before I get to that. But anyways, so many mixed emotions, mostly just frustration, where this season feels different than last year when we're 1-5. Is like you knew we didn't have the pieces. Like, the defense were playing Jeff Gladney and Dantzler as rookies. Like, we just knew, we're 1-5. We don't have the pieces to turn it around. This year we have the pieces. The coaching decisions and just the inability, I don't know what it is. That's what makes it frustrating, because we have the right pieces and we've seen it at times. So it's like, why can't we just put it out there at all times? But a little bit of purple positivity I'll give on this, and maybe I'm trying too hard to find some positivity in this, but it does relate to all the game-winning drives Kirk put together this year. The biggest, I think, frustration with Kirk over his career is not his skill set, but his mindset. And so just having 5, 6 of these now, and the Arizona one was beautiful today. Not only did he do the field goal one, but also one for a touchdown. There's a difference between a game-winning drive for a field goal versus a touchdown. But anyways, him doing it now 5 times or so, I think hopefully will give him and the rest of the team confidence when we might need it down the road. Now, we've been there, we've done that, and he kind of has that locked away in his confidence and his psyche when we need it against the Packers or the Ravens or whoever it might be. So I'm just really encouraged by that part of it. So, hopefully it comes back in our favor down the road.
Yep. No, Matt, great stuff. And bringing that purple positivity. They did win the game today. I feel like the commentary from us and from most of the fans who've jumped on has been, I think rightfully so, just like, God, this thing is so ugly, and why are they grinding against the Lions and that Panthers offense?
But we're praising Kirk, and that's a huge step for us and for the fan base. We're praising Kirk, and that's a huge step but Kirk deserves it. I'm going to give you a play where the last 2 years, Kirk Cousins sabotages this game completely. And today he not only didn't sabotage it, he gained 16 yards. The scramble in overtime. The Panthers defender made a mistake. He instead of wrapping Kirk up, he basically went for what looked to be the hero strip, because he came around Kirk and sort of flew. He like grabbed Kirk and pivoted himself, and you could tell he brought the right arm down to strip Kirk. I think the last 2 years, Kirk fumbles that ball. I really do. And today, he avoided the sack. He tucked the ball, protected it, which he made look simple, but it's not, and then took off for 16 yards. Like, that's a play. To me, that's a snapshot of 2021 Kirk and why he's playing well, because it was a run. It was a nice run. But more importantly, 2 years ago, that's a fumble for sure. He loses the ball. He panics. He didn't. So that's the type of thing I think is an incredible step, and why the bye week needs to be spent leaning into the Kirk. Not going away from the Kirk. Lean into Kirk.
Lean into the Kirk.
Lean into the Kirk. All right, who else?
Let's wrap here. Is it Omar?
Yeah, it's
What's
Omar.
up, man?
Yeah, I misspelled it.
Oh, you're good, buddy.
Yeah,
What's up?
Good guess by Declan.
I got three takeaways from this game. Number one, Judd was right. Bradbury got to go. I saw a play that I called a holding for Oli Udo, but he got pushed back from the snap. He was like a little baby. He got pushed all the way back, right into Cousins. Cousins almost fell on the floor. Number two, we have a left tackle. That's obvious now. We got a left tackle.
Yes, sir.
And number three, Kirk Cousins looked amazing, even though he had Udo had his worst game as a Viking. And a hot take, Jefferson had his worst game as a Viking too. He had two bad. He had the fumble. He had the drop. That killed the drive. He didn't look like he was into it all game.
Yeah, that was, and he still winds up with 8 catches for 80 yards too, which is
Exactly.
kind of amazing. You know,
But the most important thing is you got to keep going to him because he's that good.
They targeted him more than any other receiver today, for the record.
I'm fine
14
with
targets to Justin Jefferson.
I'm fine with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm watching this Browns game. Baker's out, and then Keenum's coming in right now.
Keenum's coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, what happened to Baker?
Yeah, Keenum's
Shoulder
coming
again?
in. Shoulder injury.
Oh,
injury.
that's a bad shoulder. Yeah.
He landed like right on his shoulder, like it went like this onto the floor.
Yeah.
Well, dude, if Keenum lights it up in the second half and they win that game, it'll be interesting to see what happens. So, Omar, great stuff, man.
Thanks,
for
Omar.
coming on. Vikings Fan Line here. The most interactive, fan-friendly show in Minnesota sports.
Great calls again, though.
Here for
every
you guys.
week.
Every week, man.
It's amazing. Like
we've got
our
amazing
people are
listeners,
really
man.
good. Yes, we do.
Listeners, viewers, wherever you consume this show, yeah, it's been a blast because I feel like it's a lot of people that, and I don't know, maybe we were just the first ones to say it out loud every day on the show that we want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl sometime before we die.
Be nice.
That's the bar that we set, and I think there's a lot of people that feel that way too, and like it's okay to criticize your favorite team if they're not playing up to snuff. Now, I think there's going to be a lot of discussions, both positively and critiquing, over the next couple weeks, just about where this team is at, what they need to do against those 4 tough opponents coming out of the bye, and we're excited to have those conversations. But yeah, this has been a blast. What a roller coaster these first 6 weeks have been. Ultimately, 3-3. The season is very much still alive. They're very much in the playoff thick of things, and they're going to have games against the Packers to swing it even more with a shot at that division. So, any final words from you guys here on Vikings Vent Line today?
I'm drained. I am emotionally and physically drained after that game. And I didn't even play. But my God, I mean, it's like in some ways it's fun to watch because it remains interesting until the end. But in some ways, you're just like, put your foot on their throat.
I know.
Yeah.
Like Sam Darnold is so bad, and I felt bad because he was awful, and his receivers arguably worse. I don't think I've ever seen a Vikings game, and I've been watching them since '78. I don't recall a Vikings game where I've seen as many drop balls by the opposing team.
Yeah.
Or the Vikings. Like, can't remember one. That was awful.
Yeah.
Final thoughts from me. Yeah, I still want someone canned. I'm not getting off that.
Who do you
take.
want
I
canned,
someone
Declan?
Canned.
Like, if someone could be magically fired tomorrow, who do you want fired?
Zimmer. I'm done.
You're 3-3.
And I feel like I've been also a staunch Zimmer defender over his tenure, but I'm done, man. I want this Band-Aid off, and I know they're not going to fire him after 3 and.
Well, and you don't have a
5
Stefanski.
weeks, but then that's the other issue.
That's my question. Who replaces him?
That's the thing. The path becomes a lot easier to fire Zimmer if you would have lost one of these last 2 games, and then you just interim it to Andre Patterson, and you hold tight, and then you find the next guy in the offseason. But, I mean, unless barring a run in the playoffs, I don't see any reason to keep Mike Zimmer around and how he stays here long term. I really don't.
Yep. And by the way, like if they get to the playoffs or if they get close, you're going to want, if you feel like the coach is holding a good roster back, you're going to want a coach to come in and take advantage of a window. Like you still have a window here. You're not, I don't think you're ready to blow things sky high. There's enough talented players on this roster, even for 2022, that, I don't think you'd be hiring a coach to blow everything up necessarily. But those are all, hey, they're 3-3. They've got some key games out of the bye, and it'll be fun to talk about this for the next 2 weeks.
I've told you both, and I think you both think I'm nuts, my plan for tomorrow, if I'm the Vikings.
Oh.
I bring Gary Kubiak back, offensive advisor, because he's the only one that can talk sense to Mike Zimmer. And I say, Clint, you're still calling plays? Your dad will help, for sure, because he's a great football mind. He's a Super Bowl winning coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's worked with QBs his entire life. It's not a referendum on Clint. It's a referendum on how that team is being run right now. And I think Gary's the one that could sit Mike down and say, Mike, you've got to believe this. This team is going to have to go with Kirk.
So let me get this straight. You want the guy that had the Vikings throwing the 5th fewest pass attempts in the NFL last year to come back and guide this offense?
Yes. Because I think that he's
ridiculous.
Because I think he's the only guy that can talk sense to Mike into saying this is an offensive team.
No,
he's not calling plays. I'm not letting him call plays.
Okay, but his philosophy is to run the ball more. Like that's what Gary Kubiak.
You know what? I'm telling you right now. I think he would look at what this team is doing and see the common sense that exists and actually build on that.
Okay,
I think Mike's going to submarine this thing. Unfortunately.
I do too, but I don't think Gary Kubiak calling for more handoffs is the key here.
But Kirk is playing
more Conklin and Ham.
Kirk is playing at a level now where Kirk needs to be embraced more, and I don't see Mike doing that. And I think Gary, understanding quarterback play, would at least have a better shot because you can't fire Mike because who is going to coach this team? Andre Patterson's not an option.
Well, at
3-3.
You don't fire him as long as you're in contention.
Right.
I mean, Declan would, but
I would.
But I'm saying
you're in contention right now. I mean, there's no reason to fire him right now. It's not going to help. If you're trying to contend, firing him right now is not going to help.
Absolutely. I'm just saying I think an internal audit by a person that knows football well from the outside would be a good idea.
All right. I would go with somebody other than Gary Kubiak, but I hear you on that sentiment.
Okay, well,
we can talk about this tomorrow.
Yeah, if there's a person that we can find here, I just think that Mike's going to sink this entire ship, and you got to find a way around that. And Clint Kubiak at 34 ain't going to convince Zim that he's not doing things right.
Yeah. Well, the numbers offensively do add up. They racked up a ton of yards today. Kirk Cousins was great down the stretch. They said, Thielen, Jefferson, we're going to give you guys 27 targets, which is a ton. So, all right, plenty more. Tomorrow, pie chart of praise on Purple Daily. Mackie and Judd will get you some statements from the weekend and from the Vikings game. And we just love and appreciate this community that you guys have helped us build here on Purple Daily. Daily Vikings entertainment presented by Surly Brewing Company. Phil Mackey, Judd Zolgad, executive producer Declan Goff. See you guys tomorrow.